Think you know everything about airport security? Think again. The TSA has its fair share of secrets, and we're here to uncover them. From the truth about those body scanners to surprising items that might just slip through unnoticed, these behind-the-scenes insights will change the way you travel. Some are eye-opening, others a bit unsettling, and a few could save you time and hassle on your next trip. Ready to uncover the 15 TSA secrets they'd rather keep quiet? Hit that subscribe button and let's dive in before they find out. 1. Body scanners don't spot weapons. They spot anomalies. Contrary to what many believe, those full body scanners at airport security aren't designed to detect weapons specifically. Instead, they're programmed to identify anomalies, anything that doesn't align with the natural shape of your body. This could be something as innocent as a rolled-up t-shirt tucked into your waistband, a hidden snack in your pocket, or even the folds of baggy clothing. The scanner doesn't provide a clear image of the object itself. It simply flags areas that seem unusual. This is why you might find yourself pulled aside for additional screening, even if you're not carrying anything suspicious. It's not about what you're hiding, it's about what looks out of place to the machine. So if you've ever been stopped and wondered why, chances are it was just the scanner doing its job a little too thoroughly. 2. TSA's security tests often reveal major flaws. While the TSA's presence might make you feel safer, the reality behind the scenes is a bit more concerning. Internal security tests conducted by Homeland Security have revealed significant weaknesses in the system. In these undercover trials, agents have successfully smuggled fake weapons, explosives, and other prohibited items through security checkpoints nearly 90%. These tests are designed to identify vulnerabilities, and the results are often kept under wraps to avoid public panic. However, the findings raise an important question. Is TSA's security more about appearances than actual effectiveness? Despite the high-tech equipment and strict protocols, these failures suggest that the system might be more of a performance to reassure travelers than a foolproof safety net. It's a sobering thought, but one worth keeping in mind the next time you're in line at the airport. 3. TSA agents aren't law enforcement officers. TSA agents may look official in their uniforms, but they don't have the authority to arrest you. Their primary role is to screen passengers and enforce travel regulations, not to act as law enforcement. If you're caught with something illegal like a weapon or contraband, they can't detain or charge you themselves. Instead, they'll call in airport police or federal officers to handle the situation. This distinction is important to understand. TSA agents can delay your travel plans, confiscate prohibited items, and even deny you access to your flight, but their powers stop there. Think of them as highly trained security personnel with federal backing, rather than police officers. Knowing this can help you navigate any unexpected situations with a bit more clarity and less stress. 4. TSA PreCheck isn't a free pass. TSA PreCheck is a fantastic way to speed through airport security, but it doesn't make you immune to extra screening. Even with PreCheck, you might find yourself pulled aside for additional checks. Sometimes this happens randomly as part of TSA's protocol testing. Other times, it's because something about your behavior or belongings caught the attention of security agents. If you ever see SSSS printed on your boarding pass, it means you've been selected for a more thorough search. This can include everything from a full-body pat-down to a detailed inspection of your carry-on item. While PreCheck does make the process faster and more convenient, it's not a guarantee of a hassle-free experience. You're still part of the larger security system, just in a quicker lane. 5. The liquid rule has surprising exceptions. The infamous 4-ounce liquid limit has been a source of frustration for travelers for years. But did you know there are exceptions to this rule? TSA allows larger quantities of certain liquids, such as medications, baby formula, breast milk, and other medical necessities, in your carry-on bag. The key is to declare these items at the security checkpoint. Additionally, the liquid rule doesn't apply to checked luggage, so if you're carrying full-size bottles of shampoo, lotion, or other toiletries, you can pack them in your checked bag without any issue. These exceptions are part of TSA's official policy, but they're not always clearly communicated to travelers. Knowing this can save you time and stress, especially if you're traveling with essential items that don't fit the standard liquid restriction. 6. Surveillance starts before the checkpoint. Think, TSA only starts paying attention when you're in line. Think again. Their surveillance begins long before you even show your ID. Officers trained in behavior detection are stationed throughout the airport, quietly observing passengers for signs of nervousness, hesitation, or unusual movements. Sweaty palms, pacing back and forth, or even avoiding eye contact can raise red flags. This early monitoring helps TSA decide who might need closer inspection before they even reach the security checkpoint. You might think you're blending in with the crowd, but agents are trained to pick up on subtle cues in body language and interaction. If you're acting jumpy or out of the ordinary, don't be surprised if you're pulled aside for additional screening. It's all part of their effort to identify potential risks before they escalate. 7. TSA-approved items aren't always safe. Just because an item is listed as TSA-approved doesn't mean it's guaranteed to make it through security. The final decision lies with the agents on duty, and they often rely on their own judgment. Tactical pens, multi-tools, or even oddly shaped souvenirs can be confiscated if they appear weapon-like or suspicious. This inconsistency can be frustrating for travelers, especially if an item has passed through security before without issue. TSA's own website states that decisions are made on a case-by-case basis, so there's no guarantee that what worked once will work again. If you're traveling with something you can't bear to lose, it's best to pack it in your checked luggage. That way, you won't have to argue with an agent or risk saying goodbye to a beloved item. 8. Your social media could be on their radar. While TSA doesn't routinely monitor social media accounts, they can and do check them in certain situations. If you're flagged for additional screening or under special scrutiny, your online presence might come into play. Open source information, like public social media posts, can be reviewed as part of a background check. This means that even a sarcastic joke about bombs or drugs could raise alarms and lead to questioning. There have been cases where travelers were pulled aside because of harmless posts that were misinterpreted. If you're flying internationally or already under extra scrutiny, it's wise to treat your social media like public data. To TSA, it often is. Keep your posts light and drama-free to avoid any unnecessary complications. 9. TSA dogs are focused on explosives, not drugs. When you see a TSA dog sniffing around, you might assume they're looking for drugs. But in most cases, these dogs are trained to detect explosives, not narcotics. TSA's primary mission is to prevent threats to passenger safety, and explosives pose a much greater risk than drugs. This is why someone walking past with marijuana might go unnoticed if the dog is trained for bomb detection. Drug-related arrests are typically handled by airport police or the DEA, not TSA. That said, some airports do have dual-trained dogs that can detect both explosives and drugs. But if you've ever wondered why someone clearly under the influence wasn't stopped, it's likely because the dog wasn't trained to sniff out narcotics in the first place. 10. You can opt out of the body scanner. Not a fan of the body scan? You're not alone, and the good news is that you can legally opt out. TSA doesn't advertise this option, but you have the right to request a manual pat-down instead. However, there's a catch. The pat-down is often slow, thorough, and let's be honest, a bit awkward. This is intentional, as TSA hopes to discourage people from choosing this option regularly. But if you're uncomfortable with the scanner for any reason, whether it's privacy concerns or health worries, you can say no. Just be prepared for some extra time, and possibly a few curious stares from other travelers. The option is there, even if TSA would prefer you didn't take it. 11. The secret TSA watch list you'll never know about. Did you know there's a lesser-known TSA watch list that's separate from the infamous no-fly list? This secret list is used to flag passengers who display aggressive, uncooperative, or suspicious behavior, even if they haven't committed any crime. You won't be notified if you're on it, but there are subtle signs like the dreaded SSSS code on your boarding pass, which guarantees enhanced screening at the checkpoint. What's unsettling is how easy it is to end up on this list. You don't need to break any laws. Mere suspicion or a bad interaction with TSA agents could land you there. And once you're on it, getting removed is no simple task. While it's completely legal, this invisible list can significantly impact your travel experience, making security checks more invasive and time-consuming. 12. Bottled water slips through more often than you'd think. The 4-ounce liquid rule is one of the most well-known TSA regulations. But here's a surprising truth. Full water bottles sometimes make it through security. This isn't because TSA allows it. It's simply a flaw in the system. If a bottle is buried deep in a cluttered bag or overlooked by an agent, it might pass through unnoticed. Some travelers even admit to accidentally carrying water past security without any issues. However, if TSA does catch it, you'll be asked to dump it on the spot. Bottled water is one of the most frequently flagged items during screening, but the fact that it occasionally slips by highlights the imperfections in the process. Just don't count on it happening every time. Better to drink up or empty your bottle before you get to the checkpoint. 13. TSA locks aren't as secure as you think. TSA-approved locks are marketed as a convenient way to secure your luggage, while still allowing agents to inspect it without cutting the lock. But here's the catch. The master keys for these locks were leaked online years ago. With a 3D printer, anyone can create a replica of these keys, making TSA locks far less secure than they seem. While these locks might deter casual tampering, they're not a reliable option for protecting valuables. If you're traveling with expensive or irreplaceable items, consider locking them inside a hard case within your luggage, or keeping them in your carry-on. TSA locks are great for convenience, but when it comes to true security, they fall short. 14. Your attitude matters more than you think. While you can't bribe your way through TSA, your attitude can make a world of difference. Being polite, patient, and cooperative can often lead to a smoother and faster screening process. TSA agents deal with stressed, rushed, and sometimes rude travelers all day, so a little kindness can go a long way. On the flip side, passengers who are argumentative, impatient, or visibly frustrated are more likely to be flagged for additional screening. It's not an official policy, but it's human nature. Agents remember who's easy to work with and who isn't. So the next time you're in line, take a deep breath, smile, and follow instructions. A calm and respectful demeanor might just save you some hassle. 15. TSA agents receive minimal training. You might assume that TSA agents undergo extensive training to handle such a critical job, but the reality is quite different. Most agents receive only a few weeks of classroom instruction and on-the-job training before they're stationed at checkpoint. The job itself is high pressure, with low pay and high turnover, meaning the person checking your ID today could be brand new. While many TSA agents work hard to do their jobs well, the limited training and experience can lead to inconsistencies, confusion, and even mistakes. The system relies heavily on technology to catch threats, rather than the expertise of its staff. This is one of the reasons why errors and oversights happen more often than you might expect. It's a reminder that while TSA plays an important role, the system isn't as foolproof as it may seem. And there you have it. 15 TSA secrets that shed a little light on what really goes on behind the scenes at airport security. While some of these insights might be surprising or even a bit unsettling, they're also a reminder that the system, like all things, isn't perfect. The next time you're at the airport, you'll be armed with a little more knowledge to make your journey smoother and less stressful. Remember, staying calm, prepared, and patient can make all the difference. Travel is an adventure, and while security is just one part of the process, it doesn't have to be a source of anxiety. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Safe travels, and we'll see you in the next video.